Hey, Joseph Goebbels, chief of propaganda for the Nazi Party.
Hello, Edward Bernays, father of public relations in the US.
So, I see that you're trying to establish a certain environment in your country.
Yeah?
And how's it going?
Not so good. Me and Furo would be very obsessed with me if I do not find a way to properly instill our ideas into the minds of the people.
You know what? I have just what you need. It's something that I've been working on. If you want to control how crowds think and feel, they have to look at things that play to their irrational emotions. People are stupid. You could engineer them to do anything if you really work at it.
Wow, you have a good brain, Mr. Bernays. You have inspired me to make an alternative to democracy. The feeling and the desires of the people must be central but channeled in such a way to bind the nation together for Hitler.
But be careful. Don't let the people know what you're doing. They're irrational. We must use their fears against them for their own good.
Yeah, okay, Mr. Bernays.
So, manipulate unconscious, make money, eh?
What? Nyan, this is so bad. I would never do that in my own country. Do you not care about your land? Have you not seen what your democracy does to the economy? The Wall Street crash of 1929, the Great Depression, not to mention the inflation you have today. It is crazy, I tell you, crazy. I would never allow that in Myanmar.
Democracy? I laugh. It is not a real democracy. What? Can't you see? You use my propaganda, you should know it is not a real democracy. But the word democracy is better for maintaining our image. Land of the brave and home of the free, are we not? No, I simply mean to manipulate the unconscious for your gain, to get what you want. Establish your socialism if you wish.
Oh, wow, that is good. I must tell Hitler. He will be very pleased with me.
Yeah, that is good. But I must say, wow. I mean, you really took it too far. Really dirtied the word propaganda, didn't you?
What do you mean?
I just mean that while you use my strategies for propaganda, our outcomes are quite opposite. My country will never agree with what you helped Hitler do. So much so that I had to go and create another word for propaganda. Anytime you say that word in America, bingo, the burning of Jews. No. We can't have that now, can we? Ho ho ho.
So you think that you are better than me?
Quite.
But Mr. Bernays, are you insane? We do the same thing. You inspired me. It even says so on your Wikipedia page.
The same thing? No. Are you insane? If anything, we are doing the opposite thing.
Nyan. If we are doing the opposite thing with the same thing, aren't we doing the same thing just in two complementary ways? Like colors, green and red. You are green because of the fact that the money is green, and I am red, like the blood that I have on my hands.
Or like Christmas.
Yes, sure, Mr. Bernays, whatever you say.
Yes, whatever I say, and I say that we are nothing alike.
You know what, Mr. Bernays? People escape from your capitalism by having a grandiose sense of self. They were happy and fully developed on their own. You might have made a capitalist America, but your people were socialist at heart. By the 1980s, 80% of your country was like this.
I was able to capitalize off this grandiose sense of self. So tell me, how exactly is that socialism? It's not.
Okay, maybe. You got me there, Mr. Bernays. Yeah, I know, it is not socialism entirely, but at least 50%. And I don't care what you say, we are the same, we are complementarily the same.
I refuse to be talked down like this from an anti-Semitic, propaganda-loving, club-footed diary writer. Couldn't even fight in World War I, could you? And how's that philosophy doctorate working for you?
Well, Mr. Bernays, if I am so bad and my tactics are so wrong, which are yours, by the way, in case you forgot. Actually, they aren't even yours. They're your Uncle Freud's. You brought his ideas to America and made millions of them while leaving him bankrupt in Vienna. You know you don't even fully agree with his ideas, but you still brought them to America and normalized them. So tell me, Mr. Bernays, why is your country allowed to keep these propaganda tactics that helped me to kill millions of Jews at its core today?
Well, because we're not killing anyone. We're not doing anything wrong.
But you are manipulating people. You are taking the role of a parent between child and parent. You are making all the decisions. You are driving the people. You are manipulating them like these hands are manipulating me. I don't even know what I'm saying anymore. But I do know that people are meant to be led, not driven. They are not Mercedes-Benz, okay?
Maybe I am manipulating them and using their weaknesses against them, but I'm not killing anyone. There's nothing that you could say or do to make me feel guilty. I was simply devoted to finding a system for the American way of life, to capitalize off the people. Isn't that the point in a capitalistic world? So that's exactly what I did.
Wow, Mr. Bernays, your ego is too big. Yeah, maybe capitalizing off the people could be the point of capitalism, but you are using democracy and capitalism to disuse your autocratic control, your dictatorship. You are like me, except you don't really care about the people, you just want to make money. At least I actually care about people. I manipulate them because I am trying to actively take care of them. Just because you do not agree with my cause does not mean it is wrong. I disagree with it once too. But once Hitler appointed me as his district leader in 1926, eventually, morally, I joined the cause. You just want your money and don't care about how you get it.
Wow, guess my propaganda tactics really work, huh? But what's wrong with capitalizing off the people if I'm not killing anyone?
Because I did what you are doing to kill 6 million people. And as you have previously stated, your propaganda really works. Besides, your country is still doing it today. Who's to say that you haven't killed anyone?
Hearsay. That would never happen.
Yeah, would you even care if you did?
I don't think that question is fair. Look back at my legacy and tell me exactly where you think I could have indirectly caused harm to someone. You can't. Because I didn't make them do anything. I didn't force them. Those savages were just exercising their own free will. You can't blame me for humans being too stupid to tell when someone is trying to capitalize off them.
You know what, Mr. Bernays? I think that is the best thing you have said this entire time. Let's take a look back at your legacy, your whole legacy. Maybe I can't blame you for how stupid humans are, but I can blame you for using the fact that humans are too reliant on their government against them. In the early 1920s, the New York banks funded the creation of chains of department stores, and it was your job to produce the new type of customer. You called it the engineering of consent, yeah?
Yes, and I also paid psychologists to issue reports that objects were good for you, and I pretended that they were independent studies. I also paid film stars to convince people to buy things to express their inner sense of self to others. We don't want anyone listening the same, do we?
And in 1999, George President of the American Tobacco Association, asked you to break the taboo against smoking.
Yes, correct.
You needed help psychoanalysis, right?
Oh boy, did I ever. That sucker cost me quite a bit too.
And why didn't you just call up your uncle?
Well, he was in Vienna.
Yeah, okay, makes sense, Mr. Bernays. This psychoanalyst told you that cigarettes were a symbol of the penis and the power of the man. You found a way of connecting cigarettes to the idea of challenging the power of man stage event at the Easter Day Parade in New York.
Yes, and it was in a bunch of newspapers across America the next day. Tortures of freedom. Some of my finest work out, I must say.
And in both instances, you have turned irrelevant objects into powerful emotional symbols, yeah?
Yes, precisely.
You stimulated the mind of the public and then sated them with what you were trying to sell. I guess this was your new way of forcing the masses to do what you want. Turning them into constantly searching happiness machines. You enclosed them into the cycle between pain and pleasure.
Well, essentially, no. The people were just doing what they wanted. I wasn't making them do anything. I only hinted at it ever so subtly. Companies asked me for help selling things, and I did what they asked. I researched, and psychologists for reasonings. I calculated things, and structures and equations. Not mathematical equations, of course, but equations nonetheless. All I did was help the people that asked for help. People have their own minds. They are able to form their own thoughts and desires. There was no cycle between pain and pleasure.
I know we are both bad, Mr. Bernays, but you keep up with time.
No, I have to say that I really don't. I prefer to reminisce. Why do you ask?
Because this is reminding me of a show I finished recently. I think you like it. It's called Dope. It's about the secular family.
I like TV shows about families.
Yeah, me too. Anyways, the secular owns his pharmaceutical company called Purdue Pharma. And Purdue Pharma over prescribed Oxycontin as a highly non-addictive drug. Less than 1%. In fact, it was. They played a big role in the opioid epidemic.
That's a shame. Why didn't anyone stop them?
Because they did what they did well. They showed misleading rest to the FDA and the DEA. They tricked doctors into prescribing with these big conferences they had. With drinks and food and beautiful men and boosting their ego.
Why did they do that?
For money.
Unfortunately, a few years after this, the Wall Street stock crash, and all my hard work was gone. And after that was that horrible president. After that was that horrible president. He thought that human beings were rational. He thought that they could be trusted to take an active part in government. Can you believe that? He wanted to take their opinions and to account for the functions of government and to avoid the functions of government and to avoid. He wanted democracy to be informed by the public. He wanted democracy to be informed by the public.
And what's so wrong with what Mr. President Roosevelt
Well, my whole empire relies on the fact that humans are stupid and irrational. That he was going to brainwash the people into thinking that they brainwash the people into thinking that they weren't. Everything. He was ruining everything in 1936. In his re-election in 1936, he was the beginning of a dictatorship. It was the beginning of a dictatorship. Enterprise, which was going to run the country into debt for generations. Going to run the country into debt. The only way is to leave business alone. The only way is to leave business alone.
Well, what did you do, Mr. Bernays? Well, what did you do, Mr. Bernays? I imagine that you wouldn't let one little
Not at all,
president
Joseph.
ruin your
Not at all.
empire.
Not at all, Joseph. The heart of the battle was me, of course. And the heart of the battle was me, of course. And the Council on Public Relations. Council on Public Relations.
Sounds important. Wow, Mr. Bernays.
Quite.
Sounds
So
important.
eventually the businesses got together. And I was there. Private discussions. We needed to figure out a way to fight against Roosevelt. We needed to figure out a way to fight against Roosevelt. We got together with the National Association of Manufacturers to create an emotional attachment between the public and big business.
So essentially, your previous techniques on a much larger scale.
Yes,
on a much
exactly.
larger scale.
We wanted to show that it was business. We wanted to show that it was business, modern America. Not politicians that created modern America. And this time I wasn't alone. There were hundreds of people in the profession of public relations. There were hundreds of people fighting to put out public relations, and all of them fighting to put out this message in all of the newspapers.
You have created a whole army. Yes,
you have created a whole army. Yes, fighting for democracy and capitalism. Fighting for democracy. I came up with the vision for a utopia. I came up with the vision for capitalism would build in America. That free market capitalism would build in America.
What was it?
Well, in 1939, New York hosted the World's Fair, where I was New York hosted the World's Fair, where I was the fair was linked between democracy and American business. The theme for the fair was the link between democracy and American business. A smart city. A Futurama. The central exhibit at the fair was a huge working model of America's future. Only possible with the help of big business, of course. Only possible with the help of big business, of course.
As Nazis didn't like the democracy because it promoted self-interest because it promoted self now that I think about it. You and your army were promoting self-interest. You didn't see the inhabitants of your country as citizens. They were consumers, just like your uncle. You used just like your uncle to do it, but never once included him in.
Yes, well, he thought that humans must always be controlled. He thought because of that would always be controlled, and because of that would always be discontent. Proclaiming this. It couldn't necessarily happen proclaiming this to the general public. That's what I always say. Don't poop where you eat. That's what I always say.
Well, why couldn't he say what you did? Isn't this exactly what you did?
So, anyways, as I was saying, Freud died later in 1939, and his daughter Anna became the leader of the world's psychoanalytic movement. Now, she was crazy with a capital C, and she was not a warm person. She spent her time analyzing children, specifically these two that became the proof that her ideas worked. They suffered from anxiety and depression. Eventually, they became alcoholics, and Anna made sure to keep that a secret. She wanted to make sure to fulfill her father's dreams. I actually heard that one of her patients killed themselves in Freud's own house. Quite unfortunate, no?
Wait, but weren't her ideas popular in the film industry and used on soldiers from VV2?
Yes.
And didn't Marilyn Monroe kill herself?
Yes. In 1953, the Soviet Union had made their first hydrogen bomb, so, of course, the consumers of America were gripped with fear of nuclear war and communism. I had the great idea that instead of trying to reduce that fear, we should actually encourage it, so that we can manipulate it. Ho ho ho.
And how did you do that, Mr. Bernays?
Well, I created a fake independent news agency called the Middle America Information Bureau, where they lied about communists taking over Guatemala to attack America, and that American rights were under threat. Eventually, the CIA bombed Guatemala.
And was anyone hurt?
I'm not too sure. I didn't really, keep up with all that. But anyways, the CIA took my tactic.
Your tactics?
Anna's, Freud's, mine, whoever. But I'm the one that coined it, alright? They took the tactics and furthered them once they thought that the Soviet Union was experimenting with psychoanalytics.
What, like MK Ultra? think the America that you have today all started with Wilhelm Reich, yeah? He was the starter of his new movement, the preacher of sexual liberation.
Ho ho ho, yes. And I hated this man. He went against everything her and her father had worked on in her own being.
Anyways, this rich guy thought that he found a source of the libido energy, and he called it orgone energy. Very strange, no?
Ho ho, yes, very strange. He actually built a giant gun that he said would capture this orgone energy from the atmosphere. He said that this gun could cure cancer and destroy UFOs. This guy was insane. But eventually in 1956, he was arrested and he died a year later.
What a sad man. Why did the American people ever accept his ideas?
Well, not all his ideas, but the essence of them. And not right away, of course. I was put on the back burner when there were fights between the people and the corporations.
How did you figure out how to capitalize off these people who hated what you stand for?
Well, these new beings were still customers. They just wanted products that expressed their individuality, that showed their differences in a conformist world.
But isn't that what you already did before?
No. In the 1920s, I was aiming to sell mass-produced items. There were only so many variations of one thing. These people felt conformed by this. So my solution, just sell more variations of more things.
Ah, okay, now I see. So the generation once opposed by conformity through consumerism now embarrassed it because it helped them be themselves? It all came full circle. You are a genius mastermind, Mr. Bernays.
Yes, I really am. By the 1980s, the majority of America had this do-what-that-will ideology, which put me and my ideologies back on the front burner. Bubbling, boiling, brewing, ho ho ho.
Wait, do what through will, huh? I just have one thing to say.
And what's that?
Your odyssey for manipulating people that much and for that long is demented.
Demented? What do you mean, demented? We've been conversating civilly this whole time. What do you mean, demented?
Yes, I mean insane, mad, deranged. You are relentless.
Oh, that's a rich coming from you.
Okay, yes, I may be a monster, Mr. Bernays, but it was also affected thanks to you. And I think that makes both of us monsters. Yeah, I've done bad things, but the day after Hitler died, I killed myself. Not only myself, my whole family, my wife and my 6 children.
Yes, well, that is understandable. You killed millions of people because of their ethnicity. And me, I'm no monster. Just look at my Wikipedia page. I was named one of the most influential Americans of the 20th century by Life magazine.
Yes, I'm sure.
I made eggs and bacon the American breakfast. I've advised 3 presidents, the Army and the Navy.
And it also says that you are comparable to me.
Yeah? Well, show me where it says that I took part in mass genocide. You just want to tear me down because I have a Jewish family, and that will never happen. Never. You are jealous of how successful I was, am, and always will be.
I may have killed millions of people, Mr. Bernays, but at least they knew what was happening to them, and at least it is over. In your country, most people don't even know what you are doing to them, or who you are, and what you have created. Your manipulation of people works so well that it has surpassed your death. There is no end in sight. You are a virus. You are like necrotizing fasciitis. You were on a mission, and you did whatever needed to turn the live tissue dead. You were so insistent that you have infected your entire population. Your propaganda is like a fractal.
A fractal?
Yes, a fractal. Like when nature finds the most efficient structure to exchange energy, it uses that same structure everywhere, from our DNA to our outer space. You have disrespected the laws of nature and created another fractal. Expect your fractal only sucks money out of people and inserts death.
Now, Joseph, we've been over this. I have not killed anyone.
You have killed me.
Now you are demented. What do you mean I've killed you?
It wasn't anti-Semitic until I started making the propaganda for anti-Semitism. Your propaganda changed me.
Ah, okay, I see. You are deranged. If my propaganda changed you, then why did you agree to work for Hitler in the first place? Yes, I know you were working for socialism before Hitler appointed you as his district leader, but when he did, why did you say yes? You were once engaged to a Jew. Why did you go against your own inner convictions and work for Hitler?
No, it was an accident.
Accident? Accident? That was no accident. Don't go and try to blame me for your life's decisions. You're an adult. Own what you did. Don't put your guilt on me. And what is all this fractal talk? What, did you take acid?
No, I did not take any acid. I was just speaking my mind, Mr. Bernays.
Okay, well next time, maybe don't.
Maybe. I can't blame you for killing me, Mr. Bernays, but your country can.
What now?
Most of your population in the US has been born after your creation of propaganda and the marriage of capitalism and democracy. You have created a country of people that have a veil of propaganda on.
And so what? I am just giving people what they want. There's nothing wrong with that.
Nothing wrong with that? If a father and mother gives its child everything it wants all the time, they are killing that child. It needs discipline. It needs structure. It needs something to cling its roots to, for heaven's sakes.
Yes, but these are full-grown adults we are talking about here, not children. Grown-ups can make their own decisions, and as for the actual children, they have their own parents. Wow, now isn't that a concept?
But you are forgetting about the fact that you have been doing this for almost 100 years. These adults you are speaking about were once children and nurtured by this way of life.
My point still stands. These once children you are speaking of also had parents who didn't go through my propaganda as a child.
So what? These parents ran through your propaganda at its baby stages. It was nowhere near as advanced as it is today. It is still evolving. You have non-consensually and unknowingly inserted yourself in these people and their lives. I take that back. You are their lives. You are the air they breathe and the water that they drink. You are who they pray to every night. You are their God. What would they do without you?
Okay, Joseph, you've got me there. There's only one thing.
And what is that, Mr. Bernays?
No one cares. No one cares that this was, is, and will continue to happen. No one cares that I did this, and no one cares that I did that, and blah, 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 blah. They're too obsessed with trying to fix themselves and make themselves whole. They're too busy with their jobs that don't pay enough and their objects that don't love them back enough. All they're doing is digging themselves deeper and deeper into a hole. And am I so wrong for selling the shiny new shovels and 115 different colored gloves to help them do it? No. Someone's got to keep this country up on its feet. I tell you, if these people were left in charge, the world would end as